Now, you've written in the past, or talked about too in the past, a place called Little Egypt, where I used to go. But you've also mentioned um, the attic. So, what were those places? What happened there? What did you do? Can you tell us all about that?
They were two different places that I went to when I wasn't reading, which I did a lot of. Little Egypt was a place out back of my house, about a quarter of a mile into the woods, where I could be the swamp fox. I could be a Civil War soldier. I could be a secret agent. It was just me, like having fun on my own, like being some hero. I spent hours out there, and what's interesting, of course, is that I was allowed to do it. They didn't worry about me because I always came back on time. And then it was also the attic. We lived in a house that had been built in three different time periods. The first part in 1730, the second part in 1815, and the third part in 1860. It was like, like old place stuff. So there was this attic over the 1730 part. And as a kid, I got Christmas presents, trains, vinyl trains. And then subsequently, there was this whole new thing about slot cars. And you couldn't like set all this stuff up and leave it out, so I moved it all up to the attic. And so I went up there, and there will be another thing where you learn what my inspiration for all this was, which is like a place called the Vineland Speedway, um, which I recreated in the attic. Which turns out to be kind of like a model for certain parts of my life. It's like I found a place that I liked, and I had to like recreate it in my mind and in reality. So where Vineland Speedway had an entry place, I made it. Where there was something in the path of the track, I recreated it. Meaning, if there was a place where the cars went out of sight because of trees, I took plaster of Paris and I put cedar twigs in and I sprayed it with spray plastic to like preserve it. Um, there used to be cars in the infield of the Vineland Speedway, and I made all of those. I I wasn't as much interested in watching the trains and the cars go by as I was like in creating this other world that I was happy with. And I would like then I would let the trains go, and then I would play with the cars. But I kept wanting it to be closer and closer to real life as I saw it or as I remembered it. Now, of course, Little Egypt was more like the world that I didn't get to see, where you could launch yourself into some like different reality. And I was doing all those things because I was reading so many books about all that kind of stuff. And I alternated between those two universes, the physical corporal thing that I could recreate and the world that I couldn't, which had to be in a Little Egypt.